eMystery presents: a teen's car crashed through the barriers at 105 miles per hour, but rescuers found a miracle in the wreck. Before we begin, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more heartwarming stories. Driving at 105 miles per hour is always a gamble, and for 19-year-old Patricio Avila, deciding to do it wasn't wise. As a consequence, the teen's speeding car smashed through the guardrail of an elevated highway, flew through the air, and smashed into the ground below. Witnesses could barely believe the scene that had unfolded in front of their eyes. It had to be a fatal crash for the boy behind the wheel. But when first responders arrived, they found a miracle amid the wreckage. Before that day, Avila was, by all accounts, the average Argentine teenager. He was a huge fan of Juan Román Riquelme, a former soccer player lauded for his passing skills and revered by the entire country. The 19-year-old also loved Argentine barbecues and visiting Buenos Aires Boca neighborhood, which has a European flair thanks to its Italian-born settlers. Avila even enjoyed working and had dropped out of high school to join the family business. He did not leave school because he was a bad kid, but because he wanted to work, Avila's uncle, Damian Navarrete, told Clarín, an Argentine newspaper. The 19-year-old's hard work paid off when he started his own kiosk in Lanús, an area just south of Argentina's capital. But his day-to-day life would come to a screeching halt on July 27, 2018. On that day, Avila sped down the General Paz motorway in Buenos Aires. It was early morning on that Friday when the teenager lost control of his vehicle. It wasn't clear why he was driving his stepfather's white Volkswagen Voyage at such a speed, but the 105-mile-per-hour drive would soon catch up with him. Avila lost control of the car and smashed through a barrier at the edge of the highway. Unfortunately for Avila, the motorway on which he was driving was an elevated one, so after his Volkswagen tore through the guardrail, the vehicle went flying through the air and over more lanes of traffic below. Two cars came to an abrupt halt in the middle of the highway as Avila's car crash-landed in the grassy patch beside it. One witness named Veronica told Unilad that she could barely believe what she had seen. "I don't know how he managed to drive at such high speeds down the motorway without crashing into another vehicle," Veronica said. It turned out that Avila was not only speeding, but using a cell phone while driving too. With all of these factors considered, and the terrifying aftermath of the crash, it seemed unlikely that Avila would have survived the accident. From Veronica's description, it didn't appear that he had when she arrived on the grisly scene. "He was full of blood," Veronica recalled. "We were scared of touching him. He had half of his body inside the car and half out." Soon though, police and first responders arrived, and they discovered something shocking. Avila was still alive, and the firefighters had to cut him out of the Volkswagen's twisted remains to take him to the hospital. Not only that, but Avila's father, Martin, told Clarín, when they took him away, he spoke and breathed without help. That didn't mean that Avila had left the scene of the accident unscathed though. At Tornu Hospital, doctors examined him via tomography, a technique that depicts a cross-section of the body through X-ray or ultrasound imaging. They found that Avila had suffered fractures in his left hip and ankle, as well as in his frontal sinus. The teen also had a collapsed lung. Further tests would be necessary to determine if he had experienced brain trauma. In the meantime, Avila moved from Tornu Hospital to Piravano, where doctors in the intensive care unit sedated him. With that, his uncle said, "We have to wait for how it evolves in the next 72 hours. As the incredible footage of Avila's accident circulated, viewers came up with different ideas about why the teen had driven so fast. One that caught on was that the 19-year-old had wanted to commit suicide. That was because before his accident, Avila had posted a quote on his Instagram. On top of a black background, he wrote in white letters, "Hasta acá llegué me cansé." In English, this means, "Until I arrived here, I was tired." However, Avila's family said that this theory was false, and they didn't offer an alternate cause for the wreck. Considering the teen had been charged $14,300 in fines for speeding and using a phone while driving, there might be a less complex explanation for the accident. But most importantly, Avila survived the crash, and no one else on the highway was hurt by his dangerous driving. It was Veronica, the neighbor and witness to the wreck, who put it best. "It was a miracle. He's lucky to be alive," she said. Thanks for watching another heartwarming video. Please check out our channel for more stories that will make your heart melt.